Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Hey guys, we are out and about in Malmö today.
Yes.
Or this evening, I guess. And it's a lovely evening, surprisingly enough, because the weather in Sweden has been absolute dog shit for forever, it feels like. But we're super excited because we are at Marvin, one of my favorite beer hangout food places in Malmö.
It's quickly risen to the top for me as well. Because of the service, the friendly staff, the food here is amazing.
Yeah, food's really great. And their beer selection is like, oh, do you like British imports? How about DIPA? How about Beak? How about Cloudwater? How about
Pentrich?
How about Overtone? Yeah. I mean, it's just a wealth of amazing breweries.
Definitely.
So we've been trying to get here, and we've come here a couple of times to record, and just been actually kind of crowded because it's not a huge space. It's actually kind of the perfect size for what they do. It could have a few more tables, but you know what? It's okay because the turnover is pretty quick, and their beer selection is just phenomenal.
Yes.
They've got 3 taps. One is a Heliabryggeri, Skånska Lager. And they usually have a bitter or...
it was 5 points, right? Maybe not now, but
I don't think they have 5 points anymore. I think they have 2 IPAs now on tap. So
that's interesting.
They have a pretty... they only have 3 taps, but they're usually pretty good. And like I said, their cans are high-end, and the prices are ridiculously good, too.
Yeah, they're competitive, for sure.
I would say they're a little below, I think, what a lot of other places...
Yeah.
I saw they had volley here, but they also from Cloudwater, but they also have it at Beer Ditch. Oh. And I'd be very curious to see what the price difference is between the two.
We can research that afterwards. But we got 2 cans.
Yes, we did.
The first one is from Cloudwater.
Yeah.
And it's called Proper DIPA Citra Edition.
Yeah.
And since Citra is my favorite hop, I am extremely curious about this one.
This is a single hop Citra DIPA with their favorite Northwest yeast. It comes in at a 8% ABV.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Cloudwater, for me, went through a little dip. A couple of years, like 2019, they were one of my absolute favorite brewers.
I think they overextended themselves at one point.
Yeah, so 2021 it wasn't as good. Stefan just made a face, and I think that's after tasting this delicious beer. This really does Citra hops a great justice.
So this is a real spot on. So I don't know. Did you try many of the? So what put Cloudwater on the map was they put out a DIPA version 3, and that became one of the most sought after beers in the world at the time. And then they went on to do, I think, up to version 13 or something like that, 12 or 13. And then they just said, we're going to cancel. We're not going to do this anymore. Yeah. We're going to start doing DIPAs on their own. And then from there, they tried to do a bunch of other styles, but some more or less success.
And then really Troubles, which was, I think, a triple IPA.
Yeah. Troubles Cube, 800 different versions of Troubles.
Yeah. When I went to their actual tap room in Bermondsey in London, I asked for Troubles, got a regular double IPA, tried it, went, this Troubles is a big disappointment. And then the waitress came, I just realized they gave you the wrong beer. Do you want to buy the real one as well? I went, maybe I'll come back later. And when I came back later, the place was packed and I couldn't get in. Oh. So I never tried that vintage of Troubles. I ordered it.
That's a shame.
Just never tried it.
It's really good.
This is easily 4.25, maybe week 4.5. Let's see how the glass develops.
I would say that for me, this is like a 4.5 to start with.
Yeah.
This is killing it. Just on like every level. This is such a solid, it's a recurring special.
Yeah.
Proper DIPA Citra Edition. That is, it's just smooth. It's like kind of silky in the mouthfeel. It's got a little bit of that bitterness to it, but then the finish is just like this woof. Overwhelmingly satisfying flavor profile.
It is a proper DIPA for sure.
Yeah, 100%. So one of the things I like about Marvin is they do seasons. So right now they're in the middle of their English muffin season.
Oh.
So that's why they're doing sandwiches.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they do. So during the summer they do sandwiches. So right now they're doing chicken sandwiches, and they have 3 different types. But then in the fall they switch to another thing, which is also really good, but I'm totally blanking on what it is.
So now Stefan has dated the episode. Maybe this episode comes out in the fall.
Well, we'll see when it comes out. Probably sooner rather than later. But I'm just saying, like, and I don't know when they do their switch over from one to the other.
I've tried 2 of their different chicken sandwiches. One was the like buffalo chicken style, and then the Indian style. Mm-hmm. Both were delicious.
Yeah, they just put out a new one today. It was a Chinese style.
Oh?
That looks solid. It looks really, really good. So we'll have to come back and try that sometime. So the next beer we have is from Pentrich. It is Birthdays in Isolation. It is the 7th birthday lockdown reissue beer, and it comes in with 10% triple IPA, brewed with Citra, Simcoe, and Nelson Sauvin.
Yeah, so we picked this because it had extremely high untapped ratings. Mm-hmm. The manager, he's the manager, right?
I think he's the head chef.
Head chef.
Yeah.
Warned us that if we don't like boozy IPAs, maybe this one will hit us wrong. He didn't mean it to discourage us, but just a small flavor information. But we went for it anyway.
Yeah, the overall rating on this was like 4.33 or something like that. It was extremely high, so it's hard. And the friend rating was like 4.12 or something. It was ridiculously I think we have to try this beer.
It's one of those weird things where it exists on tap both as its own product and as a vintage 2023. They're the same, but they have differing averages. So no vintage 4.4 average, vintage 4.3 average. It's the same beer. It's the same beer.
It's still pretty close, though. I mean, it's not too far off.
It's not too far off.
No. You know what? It's pretty damn good. I got to admit, this is a really good triple IPA. Yeah. I understand where he's coming from with like a little bit of the booziness, but it's not a huge alcohol burn. No. It's not unbalanced or off-putting. In fact, if anything, it might help you slow down drinking this because the mouthfeel is insane.
The mouthfeel is really good. It's not very boozy. I would go so far as to say it dips into the sweeter side of IPAs because it's a triple IPA. A lot of them are quite sweet in the aftertaste.
So for me, it's sweet, but then there's an underlying alcoholiness to it. So I do get where he would feel like, oh, this is really boozy. Because if you're not used to it, I think it would come across as a really boozy beer. But for me, it's just a compliment to the sweetness, which could be overwhelming and very cloying and overly sweet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If that booziness wasn't there.
I agree. Oh, now I'm getting the aroma from the kitchen.
Yeah. It's so nice.
And this is on like a back street. The location of Marvin is actually amazing because it kind of ties together the north and south ends of Malmö beer scene. Mm-hmm. There's nothing like this close to here. Mm-mm. So if you went through the northern bars, and by that I mean Stormgatan and Bishops and Brewdog maybe and Peace and Honey and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And you wanted to transition to the southern area, the Möllan area, where we have our Malmö tap room and Kröll and Rum to Beer or whatever, Metro, beer dish. If you wanted to do pub crawl, there's no thing tying it together. You could go to Bullen, which has some Czech beers, so you might find something new there. But it's not really a craft beer bar. This is the secret missing link.
Yeah. So really your choices before here was Bullen or Sir Toby's. And Sir Toby's is really I would call gangster bar kind of.
It's not a good place. But before that, back when Brugatan was open and good and had beer, that could be a semi-acceptable like jumping off spot. But this one is closing the gap.
And it used to be they were only open for lunch, and then they opened for like early dinner. But now they're open until 9, 10 o'clock most nights.
Yeah.
They're only open Wednesday, Thursday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesdays they're closed. Yeah, and then they're open Wednesday to Saturday.
That kind of matches a lot of other bars.
Yeah. So it's definitely well worth checking out. And what's funny is this location has been many things in the past. And they've all kind of failed in some way or another. But I think Marvin seems to be really hitting the spot. When I first started coming here about a year ago, I was like, oh man, I hope this place catches on because it's really good. And I would say in the past year, it's really, really caught on.
Yeah.
Part of, I think, due to the fact that Dobbins Hall, which is right next to, it's just half a walk away, you can literally see it from here, has gone through a bit of a renaissance.
Yeah.
And it's going to become quite the like mecca for restaurants these days. It's a real dining hotspot.
Definitely. I remember going here for some kind of meat.
There used to be a slow-cooked barbecue kind of place.
That's the place
And then after that, it was, I wouldn't call it fine dining, but more of an experimental dining kind of place that lasted for about 2 years. And so now there's this place. So in the past 8 years, it's turned over like 3 times at least.
This is something I have a wish list on for both Google Maps and like Untapped, is to be able to go back in history of a location. Just figuring out what was here before. There really is no feature for it.
Yeah, that would be kind of interesting to see, like, what was here. Like, because, I mean, these buildings are, 100 years old, so what was here 100 years ago, or even 50 years ago?
Yeah, maybe I can only... I only expect it to go back as far as Google Maps has existed.
Yeah. Because
Google Maps does know what has been here in the past.
Yeah.
It 100% knows what's been at... it's definitely in there. It's in there.
Well, the thing I love about Google Maps now is if you go to a location that is multiple stories, it'll show you what is on each level of a mall or a building or something like that. You know what? Let's just wrap this up. And you can find us online at what'sontappodcast.com, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube. So until next time,
keep drinking it.